Hi everyone, I'm your host, Ema Burgic.
And I'm your co-host, Jose Camacho.
Whether you're a player or a coach,
or you're just passionate about what you do and you want to be the best at it,
this is the EMAzing podcast for you. Today's episode is sponsored by MatchSet. MatchSet is an amazing company that provides players with incredible equipment and apparel. With MatchSet, equipment does matter, and they make sure it won't slow you down.
Use code TennisWithEma to get 10% of Match Tennis today.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the EMAzing Tennis Podcast. Today in the studio we have Jessica Levin.
Yep.
Oh, I did it. Good. Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm really excited to have her. We recently met at the place where I'm training, and I don't think I've ever met a person in my life, maybe besides Jose, that likes tennis and that's into tennis as much as Jessica is. She's been playing tennis only for 3 years, but she loves it. She's very committed to the game. This podcast is going to be a little bit different. This episode is going to be a little bit different than the previous ones that I've done. You know, it's been with coaches, it's been with professional players that are on tour. Now we're like switching it to a different side of tennis, more fun, I would say. More casual. And just for, I know you don't like this word, but recreational tennis players, somebody that's just starting, this side of tennis.
Okay.
A little different side. And I'm excited. I think we're going to have a lot of fun today. And thank you for being here
Welcome.
With us.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. So tell me a little bit about your story. When did you start playing tennis and why?
Okay, so I moved to Florida during like the COVID rush. And in the midst of that, I never ever thought like, oh, I'm going to raise my family in Florida. We're from New York City. My family's there. Like that's where we're headquarters. And then things just got complicated and Florida was the next step for us. So we moved to Florida and I sent my kids to school and I really didn't have many opportunities to make friends. Mm-hmm. The moms at pickup line, every single person was in a car. You weren't allowed to drop your kid off. You couldn't meet anyone. You couldn't even interact with the teachers. Everything was like very, very sterile. And a friend of mine had asked me to join her to play tennis. And I had played tennis before, but not seriously. Like I literally was just joking around in high school with it. So I was like, are you sure you want to play with me? Like, I'm not really coordinated. I don't really have, just take the lesson. I'm not coordinated either. And I take the lesson with her and she's very coordinated. And I just remember being like, oh my gosh, I like this, but how am I going to move forward? Like, what are my next steps in this? Am I really going to be in this tennis circle? So I decided to take a clinic. And that clinic had a wide range of women of different ages. And the pro was very good at keeping everyone in check and had, a very systematic way of teaching versus when you kind of work with a pro individually. So we all got the basic method of tennis from her. And after that, I was asked to join the team, the D7, the lower level team.
It's the lowest, right?
The lowest D7.
D1 to D7.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was asked to kind of just be like a substitute player. So I was like, all right, you know what? If they have the nerve to ask me to be on a team and they really think that this is what this is for, then fine.
Yeah. So
changes were made and I ended up as a player on the team that season. And And I had never really been on a sports team. Like sports as it is just new to me. Like I watch it on TV. My dad's a sports physician. You know, like I enjoy it, but like being part of the game was never my intention. And then once I started, things started getting very competitive. And it was a totally different version of tennis than I had ever expected. And it was for the wrong reasons for why I joined tennis. You know, I wanted to join tennis to learn tennis, to succeed, to improve. Team tennis is different. Team tennis is more like, at least at a lower level, they kind of are stuck in their way of playing. There's not much upward mobility in a lot of the players that are on that team because they have been playing for a long time and they play the way they want to play, and that's they're not interested in being told anything else. So a lot of those women were my mentors, and I would watch them play and I'd see them win. And I'd be like, this is great. Like, they're so good. But they never moved on the court. So every time I'd be asked to play in the doubles match, I would avoid the ad side because I would just say, like, please don't put me there because you don't move. Mm-hmm. And I never realized like the significance of footwork in tennis until I started training. And I started trying to understand why that's important, how that's important versus just racket back, eye on the ball, swing and get it in, and congratulations, you've won a game. So like I would just stand there. Like my feet would be stuck like a statue because I didn't know like the ins and outs of where to be, what to do, like what to predict. And then I started becoming fixated on tennis, completely fixated, where I was like, I have to learn everything there is to know. I want the best of the best. I want to discuss tennis all the time. I'd be outside on the phone with friends for hours about the lineups, about if we felt we were cheated, if we felt it was fair. And it just became like a major piece of my life, especially here in Florida. It's not something that is really accessible in New York City. And I really wanted to expose myself to something that I wouldn't get where I was before. And what I wouldn't get is a clay court, great weather, an opportunity to play and people to play with. So that all was available here. And I just picked it up and started to love it. And then I got into this kind of plateau where I started to think that, or figure out that I really wasn't that good. But I had been practicing a lot and I had been playing a lot. And it's like, why am I not there yet? Like, how is it possible that there are women who started at the same time as me, but they're surpassing me? And I guess it's like part of it is just natural, like coordination, hand-eye coordination, being like more physically capable. But I really wanted to know and figure it out. And I was like, I'm here to win and like be very competitive. Then that started to translate into the social aspect of team, where that would then create rifts in a lot of the relationships that I would have with the people on team. They thought they were better and they wanted to play with a different partner, or they felt that it was, you know, me that lost the match and it was my fault, or the majority of the problem was, you know, on me. Mm-hmm. That's when friends of mine that even came on team as a friend then completely drifted apart. And a lot of my social life is tennis. And that started to really break me apart because I was like, who am I without my tennis team? Like, this is how I identify. I identify now as a tennis player, and I play all the time. I practice all the time. Like, where's the improvement? So I started to understand that a lot of women who say that they're new to tennis aren't really new to tennis. That's also like a facade.
What do you mean by that?
So like, for example, I have a friend who started off in the D7 level and she quickly rose up to D5, D4, and now she's like in the D1 division. But what she didn't tell me was that she had been playing tennis, but she'd played singles. So it's kind of like they deflect to like, well, it really wasn't tennis because it wasn't doubles. Or like I played in college and my racket like still has cobwebs on it.
Oh my God.
And I would be like, oh, well then great. Like come play with me. If your racket has cobwebs, like you haven't played in a long time, like let's go. And they would just, it was just like smoke me on the court.
Because it's like riding a bike.
Yes.
Right? So like if a girl tells you I played tennis, right? But I haven't touched the racket in 15 years. It doesn't matter. When she touches the racket again, she's just going to have to find her timing, but she's going to have her technique. She's going to have the feel for it, right?
Right.
If she played earlier, so don't trust that.
I was fooled many times.
Yeah, because to you it's completely new. You're learning everything literally from scratch, and then you're figuring out these like bits and pieces of like what it is actually, right?
Right.
So are you still on the D7 team?
I'm still on the D7 team. I was offered spots on a D6 team at a different club. However, I just felt that the ladies at that club were significantly older than me, and they would have had me in a very difficult situation where a lot of the team would be relying on me to do a lot when I still need to move up the ranks on the D7 level.
So how does it work? Can you explain a little bit about like who decides or what the levels are between the D7, D6? Who says, okay, you can be on the D6 or you can be on D1? I don't know much about it, honestly. So how do you, who decides that? How do you decide that?
There's a mix of things. The pros also can make recommendations to the club. The club will then look at your stats. They want to know how many matches you've won, lost, played with who, on what lines.
Yeah.
That will serve a significant part of the reason. Another part is if a team really wants you. They see a lot of potential in you. They're going to say, the D6 team will say, I really, really want so-and-so. Like, even though their record is decent, it's not great, but we want her.
Yeah.
So they'll advocate for you, but there's like there are things that are just not very clear that go on where it's not like substance based. Like at one of the clubs that I went to, they had to try out every single season to stay on the team.
Wow.
If they had a bad record, they then had to try out again.
Wow, okay.
If you're at a club like mine, I say it's like the Supreme Court because you can stay in that league and on that team until you're dead because you can literally, they can't ask you to leave. Like there's no standard that you need to be held to in order to, once you were, so I say like I've played with someone that was good, but like she was good in like 1992. Like like that's not helping me. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't justify like why I need to play tennis. Like these people there needs to be like some rotation.
Yeah.
There's no rotation.
So what's your goal? Like in your future with tennis, you want to move up in the, so you get to play in D1, or you don't really care about it? Do you, like, what's your goal with tennis?
So I really wanted to like start moving up the ranks in the divisions.
Okay.
And then I started taking lessons very seriously. I started taking private lessons, which is different than strategy versus taking lessons with multiple people, right? When you have a totally different experience.
Yeah, yeah.
And I really realized that like it wasn't team that was what I needed to advance. It was I needed to advance my game. And on team, even if it's a mishit and it's in, it's a good shot. But to a pro that you're working with and to somebody that is trying to get you to advance to the next level, that's unacceptable.
So, what? Yeah, I guess we can talk about that more. What do you struggle with the most in your game? Like, when you say like you don't feel like you're improving, you don't feel like you're getting anywhere, but you're taking the lessons, you're doing everything right. Like, what do you struggle with the most? Is it the rallying? Is it the footwork? Is it playing points? Is it the technique? Which part of your game?
So it's now a mix of things. Like now that I've been taking private lessons, I feel more comfortable and confident in certain things. I've just been told it's consistency. A lot of it is mental. A lot of it is the mental. Like I am very sensitive to the way people are viewing me on the court. I take it seriously. Everyone knows that I'm playing tennis all the time. They know that I'm paying for it. They know that so much of my life is devoted to it, that when I get on a court and I'm playing someone who's 86, and it's like, here I am, like a fit, younger, newer tennis player, and you get slaughtered, it's really not that fun.
Yeah. But you still didn't answer to me what part of the game, your game.
Consistency. I feel like I could, the person doesn't even have to show up. They could win just based off my errors.
Okay. Interesting. I need to see you play. I haven't seen you play, so then I would know more. But we're like how many balls in a row you can rally in practice?
5.
That's it? 5?
Yeah, 6. Like back and forth with the same person.
Yes.
I guess, yeah, like 5 or 6. But before it goes out, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I
okay,
mean.
fine, 5
what
or 6.
If you're with a pro? Like a pro is on the other side, and then you're on the other side because a pro gives you a consistent ball back. Can you do more than
No.
that? You can't.
No. And they'll actually say to me, like, what, you don't want to play with me?
So do you hit it too hard?
I just hit it where I needs to go over the net and it needs to stay in. And whatever technique that they're teaching me, whether or not it's to follow through or it's to look and have the ball at a certain timing, that's the time that I hit the ball. I just do what they tell me. I don't have any natural instinct to kind of learn it on my own.
Interesting. This is great. I never had a conversation like this, but it's good. It's good. I'm learning a lot too, because as a coach, I coach a lot of women like you as well, and it's like, okay, what's the purpose? Why are we like you need to have goals. I feel like
Yes.
you cannot just keep going and going and going to practices and just like, okay, like you see, I asked you now, like how many balls you can hit in a row. You can't even tell me because you're not sure.
Yeah,
you should like with your coach, it should be like, okay, the goal is to have 10 in a row right now. Okay, if we did it today, in a month, I want you to do 15 in a row.
Okay, so I've done 13 before in my life.
That's your record?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, great.
But that's not volleys. That's just
Ground strokes.
Ground strokes, fine.
Yeah, Okay. Okay, I wanna ask you this. Today's video is sponsored by Lucky in Love. Gone are the days of ladies golf and tennis apparel that all look the same. Lucky in Love is ushering in a new age. The high-end women's apparel brings options fit for the modern, expressive woman. Partake in the ultimate luxury and shop Lucky in Love for your new favorite fashion items for women and use code EB20 to get 20% off your next purchase. So recently I saw that you posted, you went, did you go to 50 Cent's concert?
Yes, I did.
And then you posted that your new mantra or tennis influence is play tennis or die trying.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
I love it. Why do you feel
Because
like that?
I have been told before that, like, if, for example, like, I feel like I'm going to die on the court, right? I'm like, it's so hot, I can't keep going.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, then to pass out. And then I think to myself, like, okay, you know what? If I died on the court right now, or if I'm chewing gum and I'm not supposed to. And one of the pros was like, how could you chew gum on the court? That's absolutely unacceptable. You could choke and die. And I was like, I die on the court. Like, I will not give up the game until I'm satisfied with the way that I can play. And whether that or not that's like in a ladies division or in something, like, I have to know that, like, I can keep up with recreational players, be even more advanced than recreational players, but still be able to keep up.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. I love that. I think I'm going to use it to play tennis or die trying.
Yeah, because it's after his...
I mean, no, okay, I can't use it, but yeah. Yeah, but
it's after his album.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's great. It's great.
It's truly how I feel. Because I'm not kidding you when I say that, like sometimes, like, whether or not my kids eat dinner is like whether or not how I played in a match. Like, it gets to me. Like, it consumes me.
I'm sure.
It consumes me, and people don't understand. They don't get it. Like, I'm a mom. I have 2 kids. It's a lot of work. But, like, when I go to a doctor's appointment, and you're going to love this, like, people will ask me, like, so what do you do? And I always say, I play tennis, because I do. And then they'll be like, oh, like on TV? And I'm like, well, I don't know, like, if I've been recorded, but I could have been, like, I don't know. I'm not on TV yet, but, like, sure. Like, one day, like, yeah. One day.
One day you'll be on TV.
I'll be on TV playing tennis, or I'll be on TV talking about tennis.
I mean, you are.
Here I am.
You're in a podcast.
It doesn't matter.
About tennis.
I'll take it.
You're on your way there.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
baby steps. Just like tennis. Like, you know, you start with a forehand. I get it. It's going to be starting like that. So yeah, that's kind of where I want to go.
I really need to step on the court with you to see what we're working with. No, just to go on the court.
Okay, fine.
And you should, like, I'm not gonna, like, charge you for a lesson or anything.
Fine.
I just wanna see.
Let's observe.
Observe and see how I can help you and where we can get here, what we can improve. Because, so, listen, I think we can get you to move up the rankings, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The divisions.
Yeah.
We need to make a plan for you.
Yes.
And then we can track your progress.
Yes.
And then we can talk about it.
Yes.
We can talk about, you know, because I feel like there's a lot of women out there like you. They're just, like, you know, playing, and you want to play for fun. You want it to be social, right? You want to meet other women, but you're also very competitive. So it's not like for you, it's just fun.
It gets to the point now where it's so competitive that, like, people identify themselves on what division they are.
Yeah.
So, like, they'll be like, you're D7. Yeah. Like, ew. You know what I mean? Versus if you're D1 or D2, like, you're praised.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh, you're D7. Like, I don't even have time for that. Like that's not even in my, no, like no thanks. And it's like, if you're still on D7, like why aren't you moving up? Like you obviously aren't so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Like something's off here.
Something's off.
So what would you like, if you go back 3 years, you know, what would you change anything? How you like started, or do you think you would want to like maybe spend more time working on your game before you decide to go on a team? Do you think you went too soon, or you think you did the right way? Like what would you
I'm
do differently?
struggling with that decision. Like that is something that I have been struggling with tremendously. Like I took myself off a team. I was like, I need the time to get better. I need the time to just work on my own game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I was convinced to go back on a team that I was on previously, on one of the previous years that I just have a lot of friends on who swore to me that they'd be very supportive and that they have really no interest in the competitiveness. But naturally, I'm competitive. So like I check my record. Like I want to know where my stats are. So that's a very, I don't know if I'll stay on the team all year. It just totally depends.
Yeah. Okay, I have some questions for you while you help with these questions. They're so interesting. They're so fun, and I want to talk about this. You actually wrote this. You said the women who don't move versus the ones who do. Who has the upper hand and why? So can you talk about this a little bit? Like, what do you mean, like the women that move and that don't move?
Okay.
You have some ladies that just like stand there and don't move, and they're just like,
yes, they're like 92 or something. They physically can't move. They just use like their arms reach.
and they have good hands, right?
Here's the problem. If you hit it to them, you're over. Your game is over. Like you go home.
The point is over. Yeah.
The point is over. They'll slice it. They'll hit it down the, like whatever it is, they know not to hit it to you.
Yeah.
So like the second it's in their realm, you just lost.
Yeah.
However, like there are people that will like run all over the court, and I'll do that now because I figured out that that's just, you're not supposed to just stand there with a racket, like stand there like looking around, like waiting for the ball. Like you have to like go to it. Like it was all new information to me until I like really started trying to figure out like taking tennis lessons with older women recreationally is a totally different thing than taking tennis lessons with younger people who are starting to learn. Like that changed me.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
So like you would see a young girl come on like during a lineup, and then you'd see a heavier set elderly woman, and you'd be like, okay, like this woman is nothing on me. Like I'm going to totally get her. And it's like, well, just because I'm fast and just because I can get to the ball doesn't necessarily mean that the ball that I'm hitting back is a good ball or a good shot. So the second she gets it, she nails it.
Yeah.
So it's like she doesn't even have to do anything. And then she'll recognize like you'll go anywhere for the ball. It intimidates them sometimes, but it's like what's more important, or like what's more substantial.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is?
I have now like gone through this whole theory that like footwork is where it starts, and then the magic comes with it. But like you're not hitting with your elbow, and you're not hitting with your arm, you're hitting with your body. And like if you can't grasp that, then you're just going to stay where you are.
I really agree with that. A lot of, you see a lot of coaches, just like when they start just teaching somebody, they're like, okay, just working on the form, like, and then you're like, and then they try actually hitting the ball. And if you don't have the eye-hand coordination, they can't even make the contact. It doesn't matter that they know the form, right? Then they will still try to do it. It's like
me. Like I'll hit it like a T-Rex arm, or I'll hit it bending over, or I'll hit it because it's like, yeah, you told me to do it like this, and I'm very serious, and I listen to the pros, and I like have all respect for them, but like I'm like very like, it's like you said to hit it like this, and they're like, well, not if it's coming at this speed.
Yes,
like not if it's coming in this direction.
Yeah.
Like I didn't tell you to do it, you know, a split step and then move in. Like you're supposed to run to it, and I'm like,
no.
All different circumstances.
Yeah, that's why I prefer like starting with like throwing, catching, moving to the ball, seeing the ball.
Yes.
And then even if you don't have the perfect technique, but like seeing the ball where it is in the court first. And then you're, you know, and then it just depends on a person, you know, and then you have to figure out the little things. Anyways, this also, I love this. I love this. Have you ever chosen a coach based on looks? Does it inspire you more or just keep you engaged?
This is a question that I'm asking for like the general public. Like I've known that like it's clear to me that like I've seen coaches that are better looking than others that probably are more popular.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean so you just answered that. You helped me with that. So that is definitely a thing. Like I didn't know, like this whole tennis world, this was never like a thing to me. I never understood it until I moved down here, and it's like a lifestyle.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a real thing. I feel like even, you know, I've noticed it with myself too, you know, like, and it's kind of messed up when you think about it, but it's just the fact, you know, like they'll rather, I don't want to say this, but there was this little girl, even it comes from kids too. Like there was this 8-year-old the other day, and she was going for group lessons to this other place. Mm-hmm. And she comes back to a private lesson with me, and I asked her, you know, how was it and everything, and she's kind of like looking at me like, it was okay, you know. And then I asked the mom, and the mom is like, she hated it. She's like, well, the girl that was there, she was wearing these like long shorts and like a big like baggy shirt, and she's like, and she's so used to you looking like cute in your outfits, and she wants to look like you, she wants to be like you. And then it doesn't mean that that girl is a bad coach.
I know.
You know, but it's her appearance.
Makes a huge
because
deal.
all of these little girls are looking up to me, you know, and they want to look like me, they want to play like me, right? So it's like, I will rather, when I have a fitness coach, when I have a tennis coach, I want to be with somebody that's looking good or playing good because I'm going to be like that too, right? Like I'm inspiring to be that. Like, why would I learn from somebody?
But we're talking about just strictly looks.
Yeah,
like,
but it's...
I get what you're saying. I do.
But you're just talking about looks.
But if I'm saying like looks, like there's a part of me now that's like, should I get a better looking coach because it makes me more anxious so that I'm better at playing in the matches? Because when I'm anxious in the matches, it's like a good combo.
It's a completely different topic.
No, but I agree with you on that. Like that is a thing. That is a thing that people do respond well to people that they want to be like.
Yes, but what do you mean? So like, let's say you have a very good looking coach and he is watching your match and you're like anxious because he's looking at you, or you're more motivated because he's looking at your match?
More motivated.
Okay, good. Yeah, I agree.
More motivated.
Definitely. And then you want to like show off more.
I'll just
You're just going to say more motivated.
I'll just do whatever I can.
Yeah, got it. We don't have that much time, but I'm going to do like 2 more questions from here.
Okay.
What's the worst fight you've been during the game? Were there a lot?
First of all, if you said we don't have much time left, then I'm not even talking about it.
But like, do women on these like divisions, like, do they cheat? Like,
they cheat and they can sniff a new player from a mile away.
Way.
They sniff you.
No
If
way.
the second you tell them you're new to tennis, you're
my
done.
God.
You're
Oh my
done.
God, this
It's
is
over.
great.
Over. It's finished. Like you call out a score, it could be the wrong score, anything. They will manipulate and they will take advantage of every single thing that they can take advantage of.
Oh my God.
It is so frustrating and so miserable.
So give me a quick one fight that you remember on top of your head.
There's so many fights that I honestly that they just keep reoccurring in my head, like fighting over like line calls, like getting line judges in on like things that are just clearly out, like, and they just won't give up on it. They will not give up.
Oh my God.
And I only like knew that it was a problem because I looked at the pro who was there, and obviously you're not supposed to talk to the pro during the match.
Yeah.
But I looked at him and I was like, huh?
Really? Yeah.
And he was like, that was in. And I was like, that's it, line judge.
Oh my goodness.
But like people have had like major fights, they've had physical fights, they've had walking off the court, there's been restraining orders. I mean, I've seen fights in the parking lot.
Oh my God.
Yes, they'll follow each other out.
No,
yes, it's
no.
amazing.
Oh my gosh.
It's
great.
amazing.
You need to record some of these.
I can't record it, it's illegal, but I would do that in a minute. Like that is like I live.
Why is it illegal?
Well, I mean, maybe we can use their security footage.
Yeah. Anyways, this would be great. Wow. Okay. Last question because we really have to close it. We're out of time. One tennis book that you would recommend. What's your favorite tennis book?
The 365 Days of Tennis.
I've never even heard of that.
It's unbelievable.
Really?
Unbelievable. My favorite thing ever. And like whenever I have a friend of mine that it's their birthday and they're tennis or they're trying to learn tennis or there's a new girl on the team, I send them that book.
Love that.
Love it. Read it like multiple times. Will read it again. I started like the Agassi books and all that stuff. And like, I can't relate to these guys. You know what I mean? Like I'm just not, that's not my thing.
That's great. I love that because, for example, my favorite is Agassi book.
See, that was,
But
yeah.
you see, yeah.
I can't relate.
I wanna read that. I'll definitely read that. Thank you so much. We'll definitely coming back like tomorrow. No, but
more.
like there's like 100 more questions, 100 more things we have to talk about.
Yes.
You know, and we will. I think it's gonna be great. We're gonna go from me asking you all of these questions, from you asking me what you're interested to know.
Yes.
And I think we're gonna have so much fun. Again, thank you.
You're so welcome. I'm happy to be here.
Good. And thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you.
For being here on another episode. And we'll see you guys next time. Today's episode is sponsored by MatchSet. MatchSet is an amazing company that provides players with incredible equipment and apparel. With MatchSet, equipment does matter, and they make sure it won't slow you down.
Use code Tennis with Emma to get 10% of Match Tennis today.
Thank you so much for supporting and listening to our podcast. Make sure to follow us on social media.
And be sure to listen to next week's episode of the EMAzing Tennis Podcast.